Well, we had so many unresolved issues. You know, there were so many outstanding things. The tensions were so high. Many of these people, we couldn't even put them in the same room. You know, there were some physical fights about direction. I mean, the big momentum to the process of launching the COSATU, irrespective of whether people wanted to be in or out, I think came from Elijah Baha'i. He made his most stirring speech at the last Unity talks, just before the launch of COSATU at the end of November in 1985, in which our theorists were really grinding on about policy direction. Do we want non-racialism or do we want anti-racialism? And I remember Baha'i in that meeting, Ipelacheng Center, you know, he stands up and he speaks in Sotho, he speaks in Xhosa. And he makes this wonderful speech, you know. I just remember it so clearly, him saying, you know, points his finger, you know, these people here that are talking about what the future federation is and about what black workers want. I am from the mining sector. I am a mine worker. You all talk English here. So who are you talking on behalf? I'm a mine worker. I want this federation right now. So if you want to intellectualize about the federation for years to come, do it. But we, from the NUM, we are saying we want the federation now. Close the debate. So then you were in or you were out. And so no one wanted to be left out. By this time we had made contact with the ANC outside the country, and you know, there was an emerging consensus that the unions that had been more community-based, more political, more coming out of the tradition of SACTU and aligned to the UDF, which had then been launched, will come into the unions. And I think we were very supportive of that, because I really did believe that we could weld together these different traditions and create a character and content for the union movement ourselves out of it. And so we arrived in Durban. These busloads of people are arriving right through the night. We all assemble in the University of Natal, one of the few venues that we could get. There are thousands of these delegates. There are many unanswered questions. It ends up in a debate on everything. Do we call this a congress or a federation? Do we have this logo with this representing men, or do we integrate women? Do we have a woman in the top leadership? You know, every issue was a debate. And the tensions were so high that I was thinking, oh my God, you know, I'm the slate now to be General Secretary. What are we building here? You know, if the tensions are so high in the Congress, imagine trying to build an organization like this. And so, yes, that was the first day. But there was an energy there. You know, there was a fiery energy. You know, and I felt that if we capture this thing, we can mold it into something powerful. So when Cyril makes a stirring speech, you know, we are creating a giant today, a giant that will dominate the landscape. And shame, man, he's quite sick. And so he has to be there because he's the convener of the conference. And so yes, the moment I'm elected, you know, euphoria and so forth. And I remember after that night, I'm elected and we're then walking home. I'm walking home with Howie Gabriels to a place that I lived a few kilometers away, and we're taking a walk. And we thought about it, you know, what are we getting into? And it was a very clear night. Stars were visible. It was a beautiful night. And I said to Howie, we've really got to build some things here. But I just look at the challenges we have. You know, we have no money. We have no bank account. I don't have one person employed. We have this tension that we've seen in this Congress, and we've got to fashion an organization out of this. How are we going to do this? It was a crowded church hall. There were hundreds of people there. I was probably 15 years old, and I went to the meeting with my brother, who was studying to be a teacher and had come into contact with the Black Consciousness movement. It was the late 60s. And we arrived in this church hall. It was a hot, steaming summer day, tropical, in Durban, humid. And this hall was packed. It was the Lutheran church, you know, one of the few churches that really offered us the meeting spaces. And the front row, I can remember clearly, were these guys in big overcoats with a bulge under their armpits, you know, where they had their guns. It was the security police. And then in walks Steve Biko, and man, you know, Amandla, and this hall reverberates, you know. And there's this motion that is so tangible. And he talks about this thing, you know, we have a choice in our lives to be ruled or to rule ourselves. There's a clear division between being black and being white. And what we need to do is assert our humanity, our rights as human beings. And so, yes, you know, I mean, he captured my imagination. I mean, he provided me the platform to channel my anger. Otherwise, I could have ended up a social delinquent. You know, that's the direction I was going in, you know. And so I found a reason to live and to fight. And I remember the end of that meeting, he didn't stop him. He was undeterred by the fact that those security police could have arrested him, put him into a car, and taken him away for a long time, like they did when they murdered him. And so he inspired me. It was just like the light suddenly revealed itself, the truth to me. And I found my cause.